Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be talking about one of the highest win rate carries, if not the highest win rate carry in Dota right now. There's actually a couple of heroes that I think are particularly good after the recent patch, and CK is certainly one of them. I would say for the carry role, he's one of the most dominant heroes in Dota right now due to his high base stats and the most recent buff to his Chaos Strike, making him do 30% more damage to creeps when he crits. This is insane because it means he farms faster and heals more, making him very devastating at every single stage of the game, and a much faster farmer. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, before we get into the main part of the video, I do want to let you guys know that I'm not only posting videos here on YouTube, I also frequently post videos on the website. If you don't know what I'm talking about, almost every single day I'm posting a new video to the Game League website. We're going to teach you guys in depth about how to get to the next level. So if you want to become absolutely broken, click the link down below and sign up. Alright, one thing I do want to say too is that CK's been good. Like, the hero's been, okay, I want to say it's been fine. It's definitely not a carry where I'm like, oh, it needed a buff, right? It's like completely unplayable in your average pub. Now, I think for the pro scene, yeah, it wasn't too good of a hero. I think it can have a hard time pushing in waves when the ulti is down. I think sometimes it falls off due to the fact that, well, you can't buy BKB on the illusions. It definitely is a hero that has flaws, and I don't necessarily expect to see it a ton at TI, but I can't say that for sure, because frankly on Dota 2 Pro Tracker, it's the highest win rate hero in all of Dota right now. So let's break down the hero now. In the laning stage, you want to start with these items almost every single lane. I think there are some variations that are a little bit different that are fine, but for the most part, I wouldn't recommend going Bracer in most lanes. I'm just not a fan of it, as I think this hero likes having the slots open for raindrops, or treads components, or armlet components, and so the less small items, the better. So yeah, you're going to take your stun at level 1, and you're going to look to trade if the enemy lane is weak. You have 71 damage, 325 movement speed, 5 armor, and good base stats, and as a result, you auto-attack people well. 1 root from the Willow and 1 stun is like half, actually 2/3 of Primal Beast's health, and that's obviously very impressive. From there, he pulls aggro onto the range and is going to focus on getting denies. So essentially, you harass when they walk into the creep wave, and I don't know how Weaver dies to that, but you harass when they walk close to you. Don't just check out stuns. The key to a good Chaos Knight is to stun your opponent when they're in between you and your support. So from there, he actually skills his E at level 2. A lot of people take their W at level 2, and while I don't think this is bad, I think it's situational. I think if you're full mana because the enemy has been playing passive or you couldn't pressure them early on, it's fine at level 2 to take your pull, use the armor reduction you get from pulling them in, right? If you don't understand how this works, when you pull them, you reduce armor by 4, which is a ton, right? It is a lot. And you can use this to get First Blood at level 2. This is a very common strategy. However, if you've been harassing with your stun a lot because the enemy lane is weak or you've just found opportunities, in that case, what you should do is take your passive. This is just going to let you heal, essentially, right? That's the main reason you're going to skill it. Yeah, it's good for trading, but honestly, it's just like, okay, when I'm auto-attacking the creep wave, when I'm last hitting, occasionally I'm just going to heal, and that's pretty good. From there, he bought a salve, which honestly he probably didn't need, but he wasn't sure, and I don't mind it. We're watching Mickey, by the way, and I don't mind it. The reason why I don't mind it is, you know, you're going to be fighting a lot on this hero, right? That's what you want to do in the laning stage. You want to get aggressive. The reason I can tell you everyone thinks that, especially Mickey, is he's buying 2 mangoes. This is absurdly uncommon nowadays, but that is the mindset you need to have on Chaos Knight. I'm going to kill you. My base stats are incredible. My abilities are really, really good. The stun, the pull, and the crit are all really good value points, and so at level 3, you want to be playing aggressive. You want to be buying stats. He picked up the Belt of Strength for his treads, and he bought a salve, and he's bought 2 mangoes. You can clearly tell where his mind is at. And yeah, from there, once he hits level 3 and has won the early levels, he's actually just going to kind of click the Primal Beast. Due to the fact that you have high movement speed, you can kind of just get these cheeky auto attacks off, and you don't really tank much creep damage, because you have good armor, once again, good movement speed, so the creeps don't hit you as much, and you heal, right? You can see occasionally he'll just crit, and he'll heal up. Accidentally, essentially. And just so you guys can see how it looks to find a good kill opportunity, essentially, once again, it's just about finding an opportunity where the enemy lane is weaker, but the big key thing that is very easy to replicate is really just going on them when they're in between you and your teammate, right? Right here, Willow's in range for the Q, then he stuns, which maybe was a little early, tries to pull the Primal Beast into another route with the W, which was cheeky. Didn't work, but whatever, they get the job done. Now from here, what you'll see people buy is the Gloves of Haste for Armlet, after Treads of course, and Wand, right? The Gloves of Haste and the Blades of Attack. I don't really know why he prioritized Helm of Iron Will. I think it's just because when he bought the components, he just realized he had a ton of gold, or he was close to it, and so he decided to go for the more value item, which is fair, right? Definitely reasonable. Another thing people do is they'll kind of swap out this branch for raindrops, because you definitely have mana problems, and you definitely sometimes die to burst damage in the early game. against certain mids, right? Or that's who's going to gank you, right? So it's going to make you very, very hard to gank if you go that item, and it's going to let you have the capability to just cast more spells. Now at this point he's hit level 6, and at level 6 you can essentially kill anyone with a stun, and that's what you should be looking for. I really like that the Spirit Breaker comes in here, because with a little bit of help from Spirit Breaker and one pull, no stun from the Chaos Knight, right? It was on cooldown, they get the job done. And he was half health going into that kill, and with a couple of crits, he's just back to full. At this point, every time he crits, he gets about 120 health, which is obviously insane, right? It's just ridiculous. It's so much health, and so you can't be chipped out of lane. There's no hero, there's no chip hero that ever bullies CK out of lane, and so essentially the way you have to deal with CK is you have to bring enough heroes to kill him from full. Now from there, when you pick up Armlet, you want to look to get active, and once again, look to bully the enemy offlaner. Hopefully at this point you've done a good job shutting them down, and when you get the Armlet, I mean, this is crazy, minute 8? You want to aim for usually a minute 10 Armlet, somewhere around there. This is obviously absurd. I mean, he had it at minute 8 plus 1,000 gold. This is just the god game. He's 6-0 with 72 CS. This is a rank 1 performance. He's actually rank 1 in an A right now. Not too surprisingly. But either way, after that, you're going to go Echo Saber. When you have the Armlet, don't be afraid to keep it on at all times. You're going to be maxing your passive as you see here, and then you're going to max your W. When you have the passive maxed, you don't take any damage from having Armlet on, because you just heal way too much. Also, you want to look to connect to these early skirmishes. This one goes a little bit weird. You'll see he runs over, doesn't find a kill, ends up seeing that the Weaver shifts over, and so he looks to burst the Weaver. The Armlet lets you crit for 400 9 minutes in, which is pretty damn good. You'll see against the Quap here, couple of hits, she almost died, and he actually got really unlucky there and didn't crit. You crit 33% of the time. It's pretty frequent. They end up diving here, which is a bit psychotic and ends up getting him killed. But this is the general idea of what you want to do, right? 2 crits there healed him up a ton, but still, it wasn't enough. Spectre came over and he does die, but still, the right idea, get active and look to help your team. Now at level 10, you should skip your talent and max out your W. Basically what you want to do is just spam the W on ancient camps to farm them up. Of course, if you're dominating the game and the enemy hasn't collapsed on your safe lane tower, you can just continue to farm that area and look for kills on the enemy offlaner. You just have to determine how the game is playing out. If it's a little bit harder and they have pressure on you, yeah, you can just farm up the triangle with the W, get your level 12, get your Echo Saber, and wait for the enemy to overextend into one of your towers, or look to smoke with your team. But we'll kind of see here what I'm talking about, right? He's just farming up Ancients, he's going for his Shadow Blade here, he's got his Echo Saber, got his Armlet, he's incredibly powerful at this point in the game, right? So powerful. And he sees his Spirit Breaker setting up on Weaver. So what does he do? Shifts over, pops the ulti, nice RP here. Unfortunately, they also get the follow-up from the Willow. They take him out as well. Quap TP's in, which was pretty crazy. She definitely could have died. Something pretty unbelievable about CK as well is his solo kill potential, and this is why I like the Shadow Blade build here. I think there's a couple different builds. There's BKB, there's Blink, there's Heart Rush. It kind of just depends on the game. I don't want to cover it all here. Basically, I'll just recommend the build that he's going. To be fair, he's going Silver Edge partially because he's against Spectre, but also I think because of the fact that the enemy team is struggling and he has a lot of solo kill potential. With Silver Edge, I would argue he can kill anyone on the map, and when that's the case, the item is going to feel great. But what he does here in this clip is he comes over, sees the Spectre TPing in, and she's not that low, right? This is not that low of an HP Spectre, nor is the Spectre that squishy, but it doesn't matter against Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight does a little bit too much damage. He also is empowered right now, but whatever. He probably would have gotten the kill anyway, because the illusions don't even benefit from power. But yeah, at this point in the game, he's just kind of connecting to every single fight that he can. Even without your ulti, you don't really need it, guys. I'm not gonna lie. That's why you shouldn't be afraid to use your ulti to farm. Yes, it's good in fights if you find a good angle. Like, if you can sneak up, it's good. But you don't really need it. Like, your hero as a standalone hero without ult is very powerful early on. And you're buying items to support this decision making, right? The decision making of taking these early fights. You have a bunch of 2 to 3k gold items. You're not rushing Radiance, you're not rushing Scotty, you're not going even something like Manta style. You're buying items to take these fights. As we'll see here, he's battling. Unfortunately, does go down to the Radiant Spectre, but it was a pretty good fight overall. And now at this point in the game, you should just be paying attention to your observer wards and finding these solo kills. It's just extremely easy because sometimes even without ulti, you can just solo kill a lot of heroes. Obviously in this clip here, this is not a solo kill whatsoever. It's mostly the Spirit Breaker setting up the kill, but after that, he TP's bottom immediately, and this is really high skill. He kind of just knows that they're gonna let their guard down, right? The Primal Beast does make the good play of trying to TP away from charge, but Mickey was too fast. He was already setting up, finds the Primal Beast, and with one pull, takes him out. I mean, that's insane. Now, going into the mid game, when you hit your hard timing, which shouldn't really be at minute 24 with a Silver Edge, once again, he's pretty farmed this game. Also, quick note about the talents, at level 10 you typically want to take Chaos Strike Lifesteal. At level 15 this one kind of depends, but most people take the Phantasm Illusion incoming damage. Obviously both talents are some of the best talents in Dota, but you only can choose one and most people go with the left. At level 20 this just depends on if you need to kill heroes through BKB, but the other one is good too. And finally at level 25 almost everyone takes Chaos Strike Chance from what I've seen. Obviously Phantasm Duration's not bad, especially if you have an Ags, but Chaos Strike Chance is just more reliable, more consistent. But alright, we'll see in this team fight here with the Heart, you kind of just walk in. Like, honestly, you just walk in and initiate. At this point of the game, if you have Heart and the enemy team, well, doesn't have, like, percentage-based damage, you're pretty untouchable because even your auto attacks heal you. It was a really nice RP from the Magnus, using the Silver Edge to break the Spectre here. They take him out, right? Really good start to the fight. And Enchanters just can't do enough damage through the lifesteal and through the hard regen. The Heart is obviously very synergistic with this hero as well, considering it lets you keep the armlet on truly forever with the help of your passive. Now from here he ends up going Bloodthorn, which is a nice item. You have a lot of mana problems, and so going Bloodthorn is definitely a great option. Sometimes sticking on top of heroes is a problem for CK, so obviously Orchid is good for that. The Mage Slayer is a nice component for this hero against something like Primal Beast, just kind of shutting down a lot of his damage. And as I said, the mana is a true problem for this hero at a lot of stages of the game, so you have to be very aware of that. And yeah, at this point in the game, he doesn't even need his Phantasm to fight. It's pretty cool because in the past, if you didn't have it, you just couldn't really do anything on this hero. But in this clip here, you'll see they just kind of go on the Primal Beast, a couple of crits takes him out. He's just so farmed. And this is definitely in part due to the fact that the passive is just better now, right? It's just much better. And we'll see in this clip here, once again, really nice play from Magnus. The Silver Edge build, so good against Spectre. Definitely a must buy against this hero, especially considering it just doesn't buy BKB, right? So he can't actually dispel the break. BKB does do that nowadays against Silver Edge. So maybe Spectre should consider it in some matchups, and you know, if Silver Edge is a problem, but yeah, Silver Edge break, Bloodthorn comes out, and they win the fight. And from there, in terms of late game scaling, guys, there's a couple of different routes you can go. I definitely recommend buying Blink Dagger in a lot of games as the game goes late game, because often people scale up, and it becomes very hard to just go on the first person you see. Sometimes going into the late game killing cores is very difficult, and so buying something like a late overwhelming Blink so you can find the backline and one-shot at support is a very good idea. You can also just kind of scale normally and go something like Assault Kyros, right? Just amp up your damage a little bit. You can go into a late Ags if you have another scaling core in your team. There's definitely a bunch of different routes you can go in the late game. One must for me though is the Shard. What it does is it increases the cast range of your stun, and also when you stun someone you get an extra Phantasm. That's essentially an extra 100% damage, right, on your auto attacks. It's just huge. If you stun someone and your ulti is not up, you're just getting double damage for 6 seconds. It's very powerful and a must buy. But alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Good luck in your games. Definitely pick Chaos Knight right now, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.